Alright guys, got a Goodman package unit, not heating. We actually showed up. This is the house where the issue around the vents last week, maybe. Remember that video with the air leaking? We're up there sealing that up today, coming back to do the cool check. But noticed when we got here, the downstairs heat was set to 67, but it was 61 degrees. So thermostat, excuse me, is in a call. So let's confirm we're getting that. So we are getting a number 1 flash on the board. I do have 24 volts right there on my heat call from the thermostat. So let's see what our fault code list. Let's see. So I've got a 1 flash right there. Ignition failure, gas flow, gas pressure, gas valve, flame sensor. So I guess that's what we'll start with. It's the easiest thing, I'm assuming. So what I want to do, when I check that, I'm going to have to cycle the power and reset the faults on it. Set my meter up for checking the flame sensor. We'll see what kind of signal we get back off from it. If it even ignites, I don't know. We'll just kind of play it by ear and see what happens as we go along. So haven't been any maintenance visits on this equipment. So they signed up for the maintenance agreement when I came out. For those sweating registers up there. So we'll try to, well, that sounds kind of, uh-oh, that might be our problem right there. That thing should spin right on around. We'll see what it does when we try to start it. And we'll hook up right here. And if that draft motor is the problem, we're probably not going to get that far to begin with. Here's my little brush. And go ahead, and we're starting with the cooling check because we're getting ready to go into the summer. So no one's done a heating maintenance on this house yet, or if ever at all, based on the way the thing looks on the inside. But there's a little brush. Run that down inside there. I need to get my smaller one. I've got a smaller one that I can use. That one might not go all the way in there like I need to, so I'm going to come over here. I'm going to snip off a little piece of thermostat wire, and we'll run that down in there. Clean that thing out real good. That's usually the first thing I start with on no heat call on a furnace, is checking the maintenance items first. I mean, I'm not going to pull the burners and clean them at this point yet, but I'm thinking that motor should just spin right on around. So I'm guessing that motor is more than likely going to be our problem. So the switch closes. So let's cycle the power on it and see what happens. grab a wire down here and see what kind of amp we get off that motor. Pretty sure if it's seized or it's not running free, it's probably I'll be pulling some high amps. So let me go cycle the power and see what happens. I think it's going to be this one. Disconnect that real quick. There's two of them over there, but they come from inside the wall back in. So the lights went out, so that was the right one. A Train 824 thermostat on this downstairs system, so it's got to reboot back up. That's kind of, you think once that thermostat gets installed and it gets set up, it wouldn't have to constantly waiting on that thing to cycle back up. It's like waiting on your dial-up internet. So I'm not going to wait for the thermostat. I'm going to disconnect my W coming from the thermostat, and I'm going to jump it out and see what happens. There's our W there. Those are not real metal screws, so I have to actually use alligator clips instead of the magnetic clips. They will not attract. I don't know, cheap screws, I guess. Made elsewhere. Alrighty. Get this to open up wide enough to get on there. There we go. Alright, let's see what it does. Something in there is tinging around. I don't see anything stuck in that cooling blade. When it gets to a certain point, something in here, when I push on the motor, it stops, but something in there. Let me pull this flue cover off. See if I can see anything in there. See the wheel in there, so it's rusted up pretty good. Oh, something's hitting there, but I don't see anything. Just scrubbing against something in here, because when I push back on it and turn it, it doesn't hit anything. But when I pull back this way, it wants to hit something. So I don't know if there's anything back there. Well, let me get this back on and we're going to let it fire up and see where it goes. Nothing else. It definitely needs to be pulled off and see if something's hung up in there, but it should, regardless, that thing should spin free. So that motor's probably overheating, getting hot, bad bearings in it, eventually shutting down and seizing, more than likely. But let's go ahead and get this thing on, see what happens. Hopefully nothing will shoot out of this thing and take my eye out. Probably have to be wearing some glasses. I always like to hold on to my alligator clips just in case something goes crazy. I can jerk that power real quick and shut it down. Spark igniter in it, so it should have lit by now. I'm smelling gas. Shut that thing down for a minute. So it tried to do something. I could smell some fresh gas coming out of here with the gas valve open, but for whatever reason it did not ignite. It was a pressure switch problem. Dare to say it never would have sprayed gas. So do we have an ignition control issue? Spark igniter. So I know these older versions of these package units, they wanted you to the igniter cable, and it's all separated. There was a while back where these things were all bundled together in a lot of wire, and they told you to separate all that. And that's the little piece there that's supposed to go all the way up here and black piece is supposed to kind of be up in there and around the bottom of this stake on insulation, I guess. I don't know that would make a difference if it, that little piece is what I'm talking about right there. It was slid all the way down here. I don't know that would make the difference. But yeah, this cable, I know a while back, I know this is about 15 years ago they were talking about that. And some of the older ones. How old is this thing? We probably need to be checking the heat exchanger on this while we're doing the maintenance on it. But where are we at? This is it's 2010. So, and this model's been around for a while. So it's spark igniter looks okay. I mean, it's a little charred on the end, but it should, if it's getting power, spark. And I'm never hearing the attempt to spark from the control board. Now, I know that switch is okay. I'm going to get my manometer and double check what kind of draft I'm getting off that thing. But if our switch closes like it's supposed to. So, doesn't take a lot. A vacuum on that, it closes. I'm gonna, while I've got this out, I'm gonna go ahead and clean the flame sensor real quick, and then we're gonna fire this thing up. But it should hear that board buzz when this thing goes to light, that spark igniter, and I'm not even hearing that at all. That's why I like a hot surface igniter. If it don't, it just, I mean, either way, if the board's not sending power, whether you have a spark igniter or a hot surface igniter, just with a hot surface igniter, you can kind of test to see if you're getting your voltage to your igniter. And I'm guessing there's a way to test this. I don't know how many volts that thing puts out or how it. I mean, it's just a little voltage, and there's a ground rod on the igniter, and it makes a spark, and it lights up. But yeah, flame sensor doesn't look bad at all, actually. But I'm gonna stick it in here real quick and clean it. I don't have my $100 bill. I love watching him when he does that. I would like to be able to do that myself. But anyway, so that thing is going to be clean. Very rarely do you have an issue with a... Saw the other video out of the Linux package unit, the thing rusted enough here that it snapped. So I'll take a wire brush and kind of clean some of this off a little bit. But flame sensors just don't. I mean, I've seen them burn on the LP systems, burn slap into almost through the middle of it. But other than that, unless your ceramic insulation on it is cracked or chipped or busted, or that thing spins free inside of it, other than that, very rarely. I can't remember other than that one the other week. That's probably the first spark or flame sensor, excuse me, that I've put in a unit in a long time. So I'm pretty sure that's not going to be a problem. And I wouldn't have smelled gas if that switch was not closing. I mean, the motor's coming on, but that gun sure needs to be replaced, that's for sure. So, let's try it one more time. And if it's not even making an attempt to spark, I mean, you should hear that from the board. It's not doing that, which is going to tell me, and that's ignition failure fault, and then it gives you a list of things. And gas flow, gas valve, flame sensor, ignition failure. Doesn't say anything about the igniter, but that would fall under ignition failure. There is a, let's see, yeah, pretty basic list of fault codes. So we're going to have another board. We'll check it in cooling to make sure it. This set of jumpers don't open wide enough. Make a good fit. Valve. Yeah, I got gas flowing right out of here. So I hear it click and the gas valve opens and sprays, but we're not getting the igniter. The igniter should come on first. So why it's still running ignition control board. The blower's on now, so it went almost through a full sequence, but should have gone out on a flame sense fault. I mean, that's part of that list, but the blower's on, so it went almost through the full. It just never got flame, no igniter. And that cable, I'm gonna check the continuity on it real quick. See if I can do that. It doesn't plug in, but I think I can go through our. It's kind of loose. Check the continuity through it real quick. And so this is going to be, could use a little bit of a cleaning. I mean, that's not going to typically cause a problem. And I don't know what you guys are looking at. Let me turn it back this way a little bit. But let me see if I can check the continuity between there and then the wire. Maybe. I think we can do that. Yep. So I know I have continuity from one end of the wire to the igniter. So my wire is not the problem. I'm not hearing a spark attempt to even happen from that board. But it's going to the gas valve, which lets me know, because they had a pressure switch fault. As soon as I plugged the wires back up, that went away. So I know the pressure switch is closing. If that wasn't closing, the gas valve would never even come on and spray anything. So, oh, another Goodman package unit. So anyway, the guy upstairs is finishing up with his registers. We're going to get this finished up and probably need to check the heat exchanger on this thing while we're here doing the cool check, combined with a control board if there's a crack in the heat exchanger, and if you find the thing low on charge when we get the air conditioning running, if the board will let it come on. I'll add all those things up and probably be a pretty good time to consider a system replacement, but you never know what you're going to find. Alright guys, appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe. I can't tell what corner we're looking at. Maybe down there. Anyway, it's down the bottom right corner. If you want to subscribe, like the video, appreciate it. Comments. Thanks for watching. You guys stay safe, and this is another one in the books, I guess. Thanks for watching, guys.